Okay, food allergies are scary, no doubt. But introducing allergenic foods to your baby can actually reduce the risk of food allergy down the road. And there are 9 foods that account for about 90% of food allergy. We call them the big 9, and you definitely want to offer these foods to your baby early and often to help reduce food allergy risk. Stay tuned because I'm going to be going through these 9 foods in this video. The last one's a bit of a doozy, but I'm going to show you how to make it safe to offer to your baby for baby-led weaning. Hi, I'm Katie Ferraro, dietitian specializing in baby-led weaning and mom of 7, and I get questions all the time from parents about how to safely introduce allergenic foods to your baby. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to safely introduce allergenic foods in order to help reduce food allergy risk down the road. Have you heard of the big 9? These are the 9 foods that account for about 90% of food allergy. And increasingly, new research and updated guidelines, they're all pointing to early introduction of the big 9 allergenic foods as a way to potentially help reduce the risk of food allergy. Now that's totally different from what we used to tell parents. Like I remember back when I was in dietitian school 20 some odd years ago, we used to say, because it was the guidance, wait to introduce allergenic foods. But that was wrong. There's absolutely no benefit to withholding these foods, we now know. And on the flip side, we want to feed them early and often because we think, and research is showing us, that this can help prevent food allergy. So what are the big 9 allergenic foods? Well, milk, egg, peanut, tree nut, wheat, soy, fish, shellfish, and that newest allergen, the one that was most recently added to this list, coming in at number 9, is sesame. So here's your mission, should you choose to accept it. Offer your baby the big 9 allergenic foods as often as you can before their first birthday. You might be like, why? What's the big deal? What happens on their first birthday? Well, hopefully you're going to have some birthday cake on your baby's first birthday. But before that, it looks like the protective window for that early introduction of allergenic foods, it seems to close somewhere around 11 months. So what that means is, not to stress you out, but you don't have a ton of time to get all the allergenic foods in. But if you break it down, this is totally doable. Babies usually start eating solid foods around 6 months of age. So you've got about 5 months to get all 9 of these allergenic foods in. In my baby-led weaning programs, we do 1 new allergenic food each week, okay? And that's along with all the other non-allergenic, low-risk foods that you're offering in between that. So at that pace, really, in as little as 9 weeks, you could knock out these big 9 allergenic foods for your baby. And you can definitely go faster. I just don't recommend doing more than 1 new allergenic food at the same time, because if there were to be a reaction and you did 2 new ones at the same time, how would you know which food caused the reaction? Well, can I just buy supplements to do the allergenic foods introduction? You could, but why? If we look at the research that has been done about introducing allergenic foods to prevent food allergy, that research was all done using food and not supplements. So as a food-first dietitian, I am a firm believer that babies should learn to eat allergenic foods by eating real food. Okay, you don't have to buy expensive, gimmicky supplement programs that sell you these stick packs and powders and mix-ins because there's nothing better about those than getting the protein from the real foods that they came from in the first place. Okay, so real talk for a second here. There's only one thing that you can do to reduce your baby's risk for developing food allergy, and that is to introduce the allergenic foods early and often to your baby, right? Because you cannot control genetics, you cannot control environmental exposures or risks, but you can control the foods that your baby is trying in their first year of life. And these foods should include all 9 of those big 9 allergenic foods. And if you can, try to get them in before 11 months of age. Need ideas on how to prepare each of the big 9 allergenic foods safely for your baby? I've got a whole mini course on introducing allergenic foods for babies. It has baby-friendly recipes for each of the allergenic foods, and you can do these for your baby starting at 6 months of age and then be super done well before your baby turns 1. The link for that mini course is in the description of this video, and be sure to hit like and subscribe for other information about safely introducing allergenic foods to your baby using food. So don't forget the takeaway here. Try to use real food to introduce your baby to allergenic foods. Let me know in the comments if you have done any of the big 9 allergenic foods yet with your baby, and I'm curious to know, how did it go? Thanks for watching.